Welcome to the deep dive. So you've sent in some really compelling material this time. Lots of reflections, notes, all sort of circling around this figure Devon and his philosophy.
Yeah, specifically his ideas on resilience and redemption.
Exactly. So that's our mission today for you listening. Let's really unpack how Devon sees resilience, how he sees redemption, and maybe most importantly, how they kind of weave together.
Right, like a framework for getting through, well, life's tough spots.
Totally. And it all seems to hang on this one quote, doesn't it? I am not what I've done. I am what I choose next. We got to figure out why that hit so hard.
Absolutely. And it's great you focused on that quote because it sort of sets the stage immediately, right? The past happened, it's real, but it's not the end of the story.
Not the final chapter. Okay, so let's start with the basics. Resilience. According to Devon, what are we actually talking about here?
Well, based on the notes you shared, it's less about being, bulletproof.
Right.
And more about your ability to handle adversity, to adapt when things get rough, inside or out, and just keep putting one foot in front of the other.
So it's not about ducking the discomfort.
No, he's really clear on that. It's about building the muscle bit by bit to actually face it. What was your take on that initial idea?
I like the focus on adaptation. It feels active, not just sort of hunkering down.
Yeah.
Like it's a skill you develop.
Exactly, a dynamic process.
Yeah.
And why does he think this is so critical? What's the why behind it for Devon?
Well, his point seems to be that life will knock you down. Loss, failure, whatever it is. Resilience is what keeps you from just staying down.
Okay.
He calls it the engine, the thing that lets you restart after stalling out. But thoughtfully restart, not just react.
Right. And you sent that specific note, April 9th, 2025, about his view on resilience.
Yeah, what did you pull from that?
What really stands out is the personal angle. He mentions growing up in Zykova, described it as a frozen city built on broken promises.
Wow. So he's saying, I've been through stuff.
Precisely. His strength isn't from avoiding pain, it's from refusing to let it be the end. And crucially, it's active. He trains for it.
Trains? How so?
Physically, mentally, through reflection, emotionally. He mentions journaling. It's like a whole person approach to being ready to respond.
That's interesting. It's not just mental grit then.
Yeah.
It's body, mind, heart. The whole package.
Yeah. And there was that example in the notes, the one about bombing a presentation. That really clarified it for me.
Oh, yeah. Talk about that. How does that show the difference?
Okay, so imagine someone bombs a presentation they worked hard on. Without resilience, they might think, okay, I suck at this, I'm done.
Right. Internalize it completely.
Yeah. But someone using Devon's approach, they probably feel bad, sure, but then they look at why it failed, learn from it, adjust, and see the next one as round 2.
Turning failure into feedback, basically.
Exactly. It's a mindset shift from I am a failure to I experienced a failure, now what?
Got it. And Devon's also careful to say what resilience isn't.
Yeah.
Right? What are the pitfalls?
Yeah, big time. He warns against confusing it with just grinding yourself into dust, or that kind of stiff upper lip stoicism where you pretend nothing bothers you.
So it's not about being a superhero or a robot.
Not at all. It's about the choice. The choice to get back up and try again, maybe differently, consistent effort over, one big heroic push.
Okay, that gives us a really solid handle on resilience. Let's switch gears to the other big concept, redemption. How does Devon define that?
So for Devon, redemption it's an active thing, taking ownership of your past, your mistakes, and then consciously deciding, okay, I'm going to be better.
Not erasing the past, though.
Impossible, right? He says it's about changing what the past means, its impact going forward. And it starts with real remorse, thinking hard about it, and then repeated effort, actually doing things differently. What hit you about that?
The active process part. It takes work. And changing the meaning, not the history. That feels achievable, realistic. Why is this so important in his view?
Because, well, the notes say he believes everyone messes up. Everyone, big or small.
Yeah, fair.
Redemption is basically acknowledging that your worst moments don't have to define you forever, but, and this is the kicker, you have to face those moments head on.
No hiding.
None. He says redemption starts right where denial ends. You gotta stop running from it.
That's pretty blunt. Puts accountability front and center. And there was that personal bit, too, the 41 names carved in my hands line.
Yeah.
That's intense.
It really is. It paints a picture of serious past actions, harm caused, and he's saying, I carry that. But instead of hiding it, what did he do?
He asked for help, right. The notes mention that.
Exactly. That vulnerability, admitting he couldn't fix it alone, that was
Right.
his turning point. It shows asking for help isn't weakness. It's actually the start of real strength, real change.
Vulnerability is the cornerstone.
Okay.
And the notes also get specific about what redemption is versus what it isn't.
Super important distinction. Redemption is saying effectively, I hurt you, that wasn't right, I want to get why I did it, and I'm committed to doing better.
Okay, sincere ownership.
Yes. And what it isn't is that superficial thing. Yeah, I screwed up, but hey, I'm different now, so let's just forget it.
Like demanding forgiveness without earning it.
Exactly. For Devon, it's all about the aftermath of remorse, understanding your triggers, your patterns, planning how not to repeat it. He calls it an iterative return, meaning you keep at it, learning and adjusting.
Iterative return. I like that. It acknowledges it's not a one-and-done thing. Change takes time. Okay, so we have resilience, redemption. Where does Stoicism fit in?
Stoicism. He sees it as a tool, a useful one, but with warnings.
Okay.
He defines it as like mastering your reactions, focusing on what's actually in your control, keeping your cool when things are chaotic. But, and this is key, it's not about being numb.
It's about clarity under fire, not shutting down emotions.
Exactly. Clarity, reasoned response, not numbness.
So how does that help with resilience or redemption? Those things can stir up some heavy emotions.
Well, think about it. When you're feeling overwhelmed, shame, anger, grief, Stoic ideas can help you breathe through it. Observe the feeling without becoming the feeling, you know?
Right, so you can think clearly instead of just reacting.
Yeah. But the warning is crucial. Don't misuse it to just bottle everything up. That's repression. And he thinks that's ultimately damaging.
That makes sense. If you just repress the guilt or shame, how can you have genuine remorse for redemption?
You can't. It becomes a shield, not a tool.
Yeah.
And how does Devon use it himself, according to the notes?
It says he uses it to endure, yeah, but he lets the pain in, feels it, and then moves. Through journaling, training, meditation.
So he feels it, acknowledges it, but doesn't let it paralyze him. He channels it.
It's discipline with feeling, not instead of it.
Okay.
And what about his view on the past itself? Not just past actions, but the whole concept.
It's quite freeing, actually. He says the past isn't like a ball and chain you're stuck dragging around.
Or a wound that never heals.
Right. It's more like raw material. Stuff that happened, good and bad. It shaped you. You don't have to glorify it. You don't have to destroy it. You just have to own it.
Own it as part of the story.
Yeah. And becoming someone new, that comes from deciding who you're going to be next, not by pretending you weren't who you were, which loops right back to
What I choose next. It all connects.
Yeah.
Okay, and there were some practical examples in the notes too, right? To make this less abstract.
Yes, super helpful. Like a recovering addict who relapses, Devon's view wouldn't be game over, you failed. It'd be
Okay, setback. What happened?
Yeah.
What support you need? Let's go again. Resilient.
exactly. Or a former bully who genuinely apologizes, understands the harm, and actually changes how they treat people over time. That's redemption in action.
Iterative return.
Or a student failing math again and again, but they keep trying, keep getting tutoring. That's resilience. Even someone who ghosted a friend, then comes back, takes responsibility, tries to fix it, that's leaning into potential redemption.
Makes it very real, seeing it play out like that. Okay, let's shift to the second part of the notes, the nuances and maybe potential issues. First up, this danger of romanticizing pain.
Yeah, this is a big one. Because Devon talks about enduring, feel it, but move, and there's that line, the scars I wear are quiet rush.
Which could sound a bit like suffering is cool, like masochistic grit.
Right. It's easy to misinterpret that as glorifying hardship. Did that jump out at you?
It did. Like, wait, is the message go seek out pain? Felt important to clarify that for you listeners.
Right.
So what's the fix proposed in the notes?
The clarification is, resilience isn't about proving you can suffer. It's about learning to suffer well when life inevitably brings it.
Suffering well, meaning effectively navigating it.
Exactly. Not every bruise is a badge of honor. Sometimes it's just a warning sign. Devon endures because life moves, and he chooses to move with it. Not because pain itself is good, and that quote sums it up. Pain isn't a virtue, endurance is. Learn the difference.
Ooh, that's sharp. Pain isn't a virtue. Endurance is.
Yeah.
Okay. The notes also talked about adding humility, especially to redemption. Why?
The risk, right, is that redemption without humility can just become narcissism.
How so?
Like focusing only on, wow, look how I've changed, instead of, wow, look who I hurt and how can I make things right. Given Devon's backstory hints, that ethical core feels vital.
So it keeps the focus on the harm done, not just personal growth as a trophy. What specific addition was suggested to anchor that?
Something like this principle. Redemption starts when you care more about the harm you caused than the image you project.
That grounds it firmly in responsibility towards
Yeah,
others.
keeps it ethical, not just self-helpy.
Okay. Then there's a role of community. Devon's stuff can sound quite individualistic sometimes.
It can initially, but the notes point out his own story involves going back to his pack and that key moment, asking for help, leaning on others.
So even Mr. Resilience needs people.
Doesn't everyone? The internal work is vital, yes. Reflection, accountability. But redemption itself, it happens with others.
How do you mean?
Well, forgiveness comes from others. Rebuilding trust involves others. You've changed by how you act in relation to others, and that quote captured it. You can rise alone, but you can only redeem yourself in relation to others.
Okay, so the change becomes real in the world, not just in your head.
Exactly. And it's a good check on Stoicism, maybe going too far into self-reliance, forgetting we're social creatures.
Right. Okay, next nuance. The need for an anchor principle. What's missing, potentially?
The idea is you have these great components, resilience, redemption, stoicism, self-awareness, but maybe they need a North Star, something tying them all together with a core value.
And the suggestion is?
Integrity.
Okay, define integrity in this context.
Living in line with your values. So resilience is surviving with integrity. Redemption is transforming towards integrity. Stoicism is enduring for integrity. It's the ethical compass.
Gotcha. And there was a quote for that, too.
Yeah. I've burned bridges, worn horns, walked alone, but every step forward, I make sure it's real. I'm done faking. That's integrity.
It speaks to that pursuit of earned truth, honesty with self and others.
Making sure the forward steps are genuine. Okay, I see how that pulls it together. Lastly, there was that idea about the main quote.
I am not what I've done, I am what I choose next.
Right, making that more than just a tagline.
Exactly, using it as the actual structure. So you'd have a part focused on, I am not what I've done, the reckoning, the accountability, the pain.
Dealing with the past.
Yeah, and then I am what I choose next, focusing on the effort, the growth, the direction forward. The choice itself becomes the hinge.
Reorienting the future without erasing the past.
Yeah.
That's actually quite powerful structurally.
Right. It puts the agency, the choice, right at the center.
Okay, wow. So bringing this all towards a close, the notes ended with Devon's closing challenge. What was that again? It's pretty direct. Redemption isn't a second chance. It's the first real one. The first time you stop running and face what you are. If that scares you, good. That's where you start.
Ooh, no punches pulled there. Face what you are.
Yeah.
It's scary. That's the starting line.
It really captures that raw honesty, that unflinching self-look that seems core to his whole thing.
Yeah. So summing up this deep dive, Devon's philosophy, in your notes on it, it's not about being perfect, is it?
Not even close. It's about knowing we'll mess up, we'll face hardship, but, and this is the hopeful part, change is possible. Choice matters.
That guiding principle again. I am not what I've done. I am what I choose next.
He lives it. And the point is...
And so can you. That possibility is there for everyone listening.
Exactly. So maybe the takeaway, the thing to mull over, is that challenge itself, that idea of stopping the running, facing yourself.
And maybe that discomfort, that fear he mentions, maybe that's not a stop sign.
Maybe. Maybe that's exactly where you begin.